All right, then, the South African Democratic Teachers Union is having a special meeting in response to the recent spike in coronavirus infections. And this follows the closing of a number of schools nationally this due to the virus.
That's right. SADTU says lives must be saved and that it can't continue sending condolence messages to families of its members. Let's take you now to ENCA's Govan Whittles, who's tracking that particular story. The context, the latest context, Govan, being what the World Health Organization has been saying in as far as reopening of schools, saying that it's ideal that it be done in a scenario where the community transmission is low and the spread of the virus is being contained. That's not the situation in South Africa. What are the teachers saying?
Indeed. So we know that at least 1,500 teachers have been infected with the coronavirus in South Africa, about 500 learners as well. That last count was around the end of June, so we expect the number to have increased dramatically. And as you rightly say, the World Health Organization pointing to a low rate of community transmissions as being the indicator of when it's able to open schools safely, and says some countries have done so, but in South Africa the rate of community transmission is not the same in all parts of the country. And leading up to the special NEC of SADTU, we heard calls from SADTU in the Eastern Cape to close all schools in the province. And at the end of last month, SADTU nationally saying that they're concerned about the rate of infections in schools, but they don't believe that it's time to close all of them as yet. So we're expecting this all-important meeting to present some sort of catered solution for each of the provinces. But SADTU may go all out and call for all schools in the country to be closed. That NEC meeting happening right now, and of course a lot of interested parties and a lot of differing views happening in that debate.
Yeah, a lot of concern we're seeing there, Govan, coming from SADTU. I mean, they're at the stance that they do not want to be sending condolence messages to their members or even to staff members or to parents of pupils. They want to hold a more preventative stance as much as possible. This will definitely be what we can expect to hear from them in this meeting.
Indeed. Also some feedback from SADTU on their interaction with the Basic Education Minister, Angie Motshekga. They said that they had written to her on the 9th of July regarding some of the problems and the concerns at schools, but she hasn't responded as yet. And of course, the issue of personal protection equipment has really been high up on the agenda for teachers, especially in areas where PPE hasn't been able to reach some of the more impoverished schools in the rural areas particularly. And we're expecting to hear a clearer assessment from SADTU, from its members, about the extent of the reach of PPE in those areas, but also what the members are saying regarding the ability to go back to school even with sufficient PPE if they have enough infrastructure. But we know that SADTU and the Basic Education Minister haven't been seeing eye to eye regarding the reopening of schools during the COVID-19 pandemic, but they have been able to get some agreement on certain issues. Whether they'll be able to move that forward and have a more consolidated, agreed view with the Department of Education is a bit too early to say, but it seems unlikely at this stage, given the differing opinions from the provinces.
All right, that's ENCA's Govan Whittles. He's watching that story there of the meeting of the leadership of the South African Democratic Teachers Union concerned about the situation at schools. I saw a video on social media where basically these teachers were singing about the Minister of Basic Education in unflattering terms and basically saying that she's sending teachers to be killed by coronavirus in schools.
Yeah, and even some, I mean, boycotting going to school. Some saying that they would not be going to, they're opposed to teach, but also equally afraid of losing their jobs. Yeah. So there seems to be that, tug of war on what to do. Do I refuse to go to school, or, do I run the risk of potentially even, losing my job if I defy the school by not going, if indeed I feel like there isn't enough PPE or enough sanitizers to give me that assurance that I need, that, of course, my life would be safe. All right.